Alright, time for just another whatever. You guys get the picture. It's going. But so yeah, this is a new build I made. I want to make a strength build because I never done that yet. So I figured why not. Well, I'm mid-rolling. Once in a while I fat roll, but I really want to not fat roll. He's 124. I think probably one of my favorite weapons for all of the strength builds, or the strength build, it's got to be this weapon. This weapon, Black Knight Great Axe, is pretty cool. Although it's really easy to get parried with it. Even if you only swing once or twice, people can still, who are pretty decent at parrying, can get it. So you gotta try to like dead angle with it and stuff. But yeah, so I mid roll. For a little while I used like a rapier or the mail breaker, but I switched that later to a bow, and it's a much better idea. Because at first I'm like, oh, I can just poke behind a shield, but no, I'm not gonna. It's not as effective as a bow. But yeah, so I have a heavy weapon and then that side weapon, which I just talked about. And then I have the great shield, the Havel's great shield. Although I use the great shield of Artorias sometimes too, when I have to, for like weight requirements on like the heavy weapons, like the Dragon King Great Axe and the Dragon Great Sword. But and I really want to avoid that because I really like some of those weapons, but just after using great shields for a little bit, I'd rather just use the Havel's great shield. All around way better. And this guy just got to heal, and I just did like a little quick shrug a minute ago, or not a minute ago, but a moment ago. And so yeah, but I'm not gonna be merciful on this guy. Sorry, dude, but yeah. Anyway, whatever. I get him, so it's all good. And I'll put him down. Just screw him. But yeah. So a lot of people, if they ever make strength builds, they'll use like, try to get the fast roll in, which that's whatever. And most of them that I've seen that are good, they're not using great shields. You always got a normal shield or some sort of parrying shield. I do have a target shield with this build also. It's on the left slot, besides the great shield. But because if I feel like the guy's easy to parry, or I just like know what he's gonna do, why not go for it? And I love this guy's name. His name's A School for Ants. It's from Zoolander. If anyone has ever seen Zoolander, it's stupid, but it's like Ben Stiller funny, because he's in it. But it's just, I don't know, it was a funny movie. But yeah, so even though this guy's using a spear with heavy armor, which is just all around not one of my favorite builds to fight, especially since he's not like slow rolling of either kind. It just sucks. So I just kind of keep my shield up a lot because I know I could probably swing and he could get a poke off before I hit him and get out of there. So although definitely trading with him is gonna be good if I can guarantee a hit in. Not with the poke. Not with the poke. Although I gotta say though, even though this guy's using a spear, I think he was probably one of the only spear users I didn't dislike too bad, because he wasn't just spamming it, which is always when something gets bad. It's just when you spam it. But yeah, so when I pulled this target shield, see, I was going for that backstab, but he got me. I wasn't fast enough. I would say it was a good fight though. But yeah, when I pulled out that target shield last fight, he was definitely like noticed and I think he thought that I was going to try to parry him, which I did want to do, but I don't even think I attempted it. And this guy, he pressed the parry button the second time, and it definitely cost him. And I did a move that was really slow, and it cost me. So we're trading backstabs there. So I blocked it instead of rolling through it, which is kind of unnecessary because I think I would have dodged it. Yes, throw all of your fireballs. All of them. And I know some people would think to punish, but I couldn't punish that. I don't think I could have broken his poise. So, like, a running attack would have got me hit and killed. And a backstab wouldn't have worked because he had lava behind him. It would have canceled it out, I think. And if not done that backstab cancel, I mean, it sure would have canceled the move, but I still would have gotten hurt. I think. Maybe not. But yeah, this guy, he was... I don't think this might be the same guy. No, it's not the same guy. Oh yeah, it is. It's been going on for a while. Sorry, I stopped paying attention for a minute. Sort of just went on like a little mental story, basically. So, thankfully, Phantom Range works in my favor. Not gonna even lie what it looked like, because I remember saying that when that happened. It was just, I thought it was funny. Thought I was gonna dead angle him on that first hit, but definitely not. And now I was backing up, so I wasn't. Direct hit. I would have been so mad if that would have killed me when that was happening. It just would not have been a good day. Yeah, see, this guy thinks I'm like a stupid strength user. Like, just because back in the olden days, warriors were these big, or barbarians were these big bumbling idiots doesn't mean we are here. Although when you're new, it can look like that, sure. But, and that I was just saving it for him till he ran up to attack, and thankfully, I was able to pull the trigger before he swung. And that's why guns win wars. This fight was a fun fight. So this guy's ninja flipping around in this crystal armor, and I love the crystal armor. I think crystal armor is an awesome set. He gets a really foreseeable parry, I think. Like, if you're running around doing what we're doing, I totally see what he was up to. But it's all good. But he's running around with dual claws. And see, that trick, it's a cool trick, but he was too close for it. It was like he was right in my face, like, broadcasting it. And that is an amazing dead angle that I'm sort of noticing, because that... I don't know, that looked odd, because he was standing, like, right in front of me, and it was, like, hitting me behind the shield, it looked like. Maybe it was partial lag, but I don't know. That, he almost got me, and that bow almost screwed me over. That, I was just out of his range, and we just struck at the same time. Or, I struck a split second before him, but it was a good fight between me and that guy, I think. I like the Black Knight Great Axe too. It's a cool weapon. And this guy, I sort of knew he was going to parry again because I got him like psyched for it. It was like, I mean, you've seen it. It was just like, I swung, I'd done another swing and he parried, and then I just kind of waited and then, yeah. Yeah, when people start throwing fireballs, you just need to back away. I mean, some people can, you know, if you unlock and aim it up higher, like you can throw it farther than the lock on or whatever, or farther than like your typical like looking of it. And I don't mean like up, I mean like just more horizontal with the ground. But yeah, but so here's me and this guy. We have a really similar build setup except for the pyro part, but I mean I guess I have arrows. Because he's using a sword, although I don't know if it's a great sword. But although he actually switched to the shuttle, which would have been a smart choice if I were turtling. But just because you see a giant great shield doesn't mean I'm going to turtle. And this guy, see, he's running for a backstab, which is alright, but I'm locked onto you with a bow. So I'm going to follow you, and I traded, and thankfully, he died. Not me. I would say it was a good fight, though. I'm just glad I had enough health and defense to get through that. I didn't know what he was up to. If he was going to put a buff on, I wouldn't have backed off so nicely. That, I wasn't really trying for a backstab, but I wanted to do something, like, sort of crazy. And that, when it ever comes to a Fire Tempest and they're right next to you, backstab. You always get it. You just gotta believe. Believe you can do it, and you can do it. And that guy, I think, fought pretty well, even though it didn't do a lot to me. But I just have a decent amount of health and defense. I'm like, I think I'm almost in the 400 for physical. But, yeah, so, but I think it's, I just think, defense-wise, if you're fighting someone who's too quick, it's gonna be tough. And this guy, I don't know what I was thinking right here. Like, I mean, not with the trying to attack him while he's buffing and stuff. That's, I'm gonna do that in the Berg. But I want to say this right coming up because, like, what was I thinking? Why was I trying to parry him? There's no indication. I just kind of threw a blind one out there and bam. And I get chain BS'd. Because at the time, this guy's playing, like, in my opinion, a punk. Because you're buffing in the Berg. And I mean, I get why he was chaining me. He thought he was in his own. He was in his own justice. So I guess that's, you know, that's okay for him. I mean, I won't say I've never gone, like, relentless if someone didn't like what I did. But that's not always. That's just, that could have been for him. Later on, me and that guy were cool. But, just not then. Then I was not okay with him then. It wasn't too good. And this guy, we now got another buffer right afterwards. But, yeah, I mean, you know, on the other side, like, looking at it now, Sunlight Blade is probably the least worst if used, like, correctly. I guess they all have their strengths and weaknesses. Never mind. Dark Moon +3 is ridiculous. Speaking from the cleric, definitely see that. And that he was just out of range for that. And he's flipping around me too much, and that wild swing got him. See, I thought that was a little ridiculous, but alright. And that, I was too close. It's rather unfortunate. I somehow get a swing in on him. I don't even know how I did that. But, yeah, so this guy, he's just waiting for me. Right when I spawn in. Hit him once, and he gets stunned. Running for a backstab. Done. You know, if you're gonna wait at someone's spawn, like, you know, you freak people out if you're standing up by the crossbowman guy half the time. If you're standing at their spawn, you shouldn't win. Not that you won't win, but just, you shouldn't win. It's like the gankers in the forest, just waiting on top of the stairs. It's just like, it's ridiculous. I mean, I haven't seen that in a while. Granted, I don't go to the forest often. I would say the majority of my fights are in Undeadburg. But I have some other recorded stuff that's not in Undeadburg. I just wanted to get this out first because it's a new build and I'm doing some random invasions with it, and this is sort of just like a good test ground before I, like, act relentless to random people. But I'll save that for another video. I won't talk too much about that. But yeah, so I'm in this guy's world. I'm fighting the Phantom. At first I thought it was a gank, but the host kind of walked away. I should have swung, but I don't think I was going to hit him anyway. I'm glad that kind of all proceeded. So I bow, and then here comes the guy with the Demon Great Machete with the move that is pretty much impossible to get off in a normal situation. Like, because the one-handed heavy and the two-handed heavy, it's the same move, I believe. And it's just this long charge up and then a smash down. Which, sure, if it hits, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna really hurt, but it's really impractical because it basically turned 2 of your, like, 4 moves into, like, 3 moves, basically. Yeah, it's just... it's just not the best. I really like it. It's powerful, but I don't know if it's worth the lack of a moveset, pretty much. Alright. Got another spear user. And I'm glad that now that I'm rewatching this in the morning, that I realized that this spear user is not using the same spear as the other guy. I don't remember what he was using, but it was not the demon spear. But yeah, so this guy, I mean, I've seen people do pyros with spears, but I think he should have been more, I guess, specific in what his build is, and I think he would have done better. Like, I mean, unless the dark armor is like a theme for a reason, like maybe he really likes it. Maybe there isn't a theme. Maybe he just that's just his build. I guess that could be it too. But I think you could definitely perfect that build to be much more annoyingly effective. Like, not so much in a way to where he turns into like a ganking scumbag, but more so just like perfecting it more. Like, if he needs to remake that build, I should send him a message. He could make it even better, because that's what I do with my pyros. I've had like 4 pyros, and all of them were pretty much like upgrades from the last, and it's only gotten like better. The last one I want to do either a dragon or one that uses the dust crown ring, or both. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could pull that off. Because you're gonna die in like 1 hit from anything, or 2 hits from like anything. Yeah, so I'm still working on that one. But yeah, I was just those were like hoping he'd come back, but it was a pointless swing. Yeah, that was totally foreseeable. Alright, and this guy is Mr. Absalon, and I get some shots of revenge later on. And me and him both right there had the same idea, except he pulled it off first. But it was some good games. And I think this guy was taking a long time, and that's why he was doing whatever when he got down there. He was either doing that or I was sending a message and he like was waiting. I don't recall. I think the two-handed R1 like that is so cool. Like the vertical swings. I thought that was cool. So me and him, we both have really similar builds. Except I know that if you even go for a shoulder, I can like counter BS you. Like, you don't even have to be trying to BS me, and you can get counter BS'd. And when you're fighting like a heavy build, it's like, I get that it's hard to do to attack from the front because they're, you know, well defended. It's like a strength build, especially if you're using like either just a really powerful shield or an actual great shield. I think if I would have done some unlocked play and I died for spamming it, he gets me. I'm just checking that message I got a minute ago. No need to sit here and watch you defeat me. I accept it, but, yeah, screw those planks. But, yeah, I think if you do unlocked play, I think it definitely messes with your opponent's mind a bit. Although, too much of trying to be fancy will get you caught up now and then. And it just happens. Like you try to do a cool dead angle, and you just don't pull it off right or whatever, just for whatever reason. Yeah, so we got each other there. So just canceled out. But see, like the dead angle made me swing way faster. But it's just, I don't even remember what I was talking about. All I know is that dead angles are pretty cool when you are running around unlocked. Oh, is that later? It might be later. There's a fight where I give you an example of like a perfect guy getting caught up from being fancy. Although I sort of trick him into it, but it was the only way I could win. We'll see. And this is alright. So I get a backstab, which looks to be a really devastating backstab, but I'm not gonna say if it is or not. So I hit him as he does that, and as he's trying to do something, I just do like slight turns to the first left and then right, and I got him. Alright, this guy rolled a little bit too early, but now he knows kind of what I'm up to. And he's lucky I didn't backstab him. I think that would have definitely killed him. And I should have rolled. But I used that explosion time to switch up my weapon, so that way I have a better chance of beating him, because fat rolling and using a weapon I'm not accustomed to is not a good combo to get good with. It's just, maybe it could be a combo to become good with, but not to get good with. And that's a problem with some builds. Like, you can't just pick up a random build and be like a pro. You gotta like let it grow on you, and then later on you'll see its fault, and you can eventually just slowly change it. But just, I don't know. Whenever they're unique, it's always good. But yeah, I'm not a fan of like. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like katanas, but I mean, like, I'm not a claymore fan, even though it looks all right. Just I don't have any builds that would use it. Like I don't use little strength weapons on this character, like the claymore and the flameberg and whatnot. I don't use any of those in this build, or at least not right now anyway. I was actually thinking of a different weapon shield combo. I think that this build could be like a 4 weapons sort of build easily. Like either have like still a big strength weapon in the right, have a great axe of some sort in the left, a spear in the left, and then the bow in the right. And see, I went to bash this guy because he was just like looking right in my face. So the bash, even if he would have started to turn behind me, I could just unlock and pivot backwards. Thankfully, I like delay my swing a little bit. I didn't press it right away when I unblocked, and that like messed up his timing because he knew what I was trying to do. That I roll through the first one and get hit with the second one. If I would have tanked the first one and just rolled on the second one, it would have been a lot better. So you heard that. You heard the sword. Poof, random ghost as he's getting summoned up attacking me. So I'm just like, I don't want to have any of that. So I just kind of like back up. And I don't get what he's up to. He's just running around in circles. Like, I don't know if he's trying to be like, I don't know if he's got some plan to all that. But I do know that you're not, I just didn't understand it. I really just didn't understand it. Like, or maybe his connection was that bad. But see, then he, like, jogs merrily away. And if you run down here, you're probably gonna die, unless the fight is truly led this way. I guess it's all right, but then it creates a really tough situation depending on your build. So I mean, unless you're either being a coward if you're running away down there, or the fight's literally taking you that way, and that's kind of tough. Not that it's tough. I mean, it's happened to me a couple times. But yeah, so this is near the end of the video. There's probably like 7-8 minutes left. And I switched up because I was playing that strength build like all day. Or not like all day, probably like for like a couple hours. And so I decided, well, since it's still the same night, I'm gonna switch up to my egghead and try to get some revenge on people that were getting me. I didn't run into Titanite Team, and I wish I would have, because then I could have showed him a build that I'm actually good with rather than the one that he just wrecked. um, but yeah, like this is that Dr. Epsilon guy, and I think he was surprised that I was the same player because my strength build was very different from this. And see that I was sort of chasing him off there. See, that's like understandable, and I thankfully hit him with the second, with the like backswing to that. Not the backswing, but the second whip bit, whatever, you know what I mean. Whiplash, there you go, whiplash, there you go. School for Ents has been vanquished. Still think that guy's name's hilarious. It's like, come on now. See, I wanted to hope he knew I wasn't coming to attack him. I just want that item. Because if he has full, what's the point? I'll take it. That way, even if I lose, I still get something. And see, now that I can fast roll, it sort of messed with his build. But it's two-handing that sword. It's actually got some pretty decent range. I sort of made that lava pool behind me, like, away so he couldn't backstab me. That was a little too hopeful of a, fire whip. And that, I don't think the lava hit him, I think it was just literally the explosion that got him. Yeah, and that guy started shooting at me, but thankfully I get around the corner and I do that prostration, and it ducked Soul Spear. Unless the Soul Spear wouldn't have hit, unless it was free aimed, which probably actually more likely than you. But yeah, but I lived, thankfully. Except for the host, he died. Let's see. I think this guy was random. I don't think I fought him as my strength build, but I thought this guy did pretty decent. If I remember right. See there, he probably definitely thought I was going for a Great Combustion. And yeah, I don't mind. I had to like freak him out, otherwise he was going to see, it's smart that he attacked me. I'm glad he knows that like anything he does will stun me. And that was a direct hit maybe? Or could have just been the explosion. I don't know. Sort of hard to see. There was a lot of lava in the way. And I didn't go like inspect it. But yeah, so I'm fighting this guy again. I think I fight him a couple more times in this last bit of the video. See, he threw a mist in there, but I'm surprised he didn't freak out from that fireball. It's all going back to that belief. If you know what you're doing, just do whatever, and you should be able. You should be fine. See, this guy is probably learned right there, if not earlier, that. And see, I did one of those lava ball, get him stuck there, and then combustion him, but that didn't work. I was gonna get rid of that, but it was just so close to the beginning of this game, I just kept it. But he's alright, he's a good guy. Fun fights. Yeah, so this is the guy that I like. One of the probably 2 or 3 people I actually wanted. All in good fun sort of engines, but he won that trade. Thankfully I don't take too much damage, and that lava whip somehow hit him. It was, I don't know how it hit him, but it must have on his screen or something. Maybe there's some sort of lag because that was... Yeah, so this fight, I wanted to not use the pyromancy right off the bat in case I run into more people. The Fury Sword, I really like it in the left hand because the curved sword parries look cool. And then whenever you attack, the sword lights on fire. And when it's in the left hand, it's not your primary, so you're not going to use it all the time. So it's not like you have this obtrusive fire everywhere. Or at least when I use it two-handed. You know, that's what I thought. But yeah, now there's the shoulder, or not now. I mean, there's been the shoulder on this build, but you know, and it's an okay weapon. It's just for people that are gonna turtle and just waste my fire. This, I was just trying to do something fancy, but he didn't advance on me at all, which is smart. That's what you got to do to a pyromancer. You just got to let him burn out, and you can beat him. It's definitely the best way. You can just dodge him and whatnot until then. And I don't know what was up with that. That was some super phantom range. I didn't even. I don't know. I don't remember what I was up to. I think I was trying to tell him something, but he wasn't getting it, so we were just gonna fight. I was just waiting for him to get out of there. And now I'm just kind of messing with his head. He's like, what is this guy up to? See, now I'm just going to start off with the pyro. I remember one guy told me I was just spamming fire surge. And I thought it was funny because, I mean, I guess I was. But see, I thought that was like, I'm making my, it's like, a fire surge is like a make your own fire whip. So, I think it's pretty cool if you do it right. Never really seen other people do it like that too much. And see, that's smart too. If you back away and just use arrows, I would have nothing on you. And that was just a hopeful, but it definitely freaks people out, regardless of how much you have. And I wanted to aim at him, but I did not like turn at the right time. And we get each other. That's it, guys, for this commentary.